Hi guys, welcome back to another video with Pratham Test Prep. This is your host Sanjeev Bhatia again, and we are back with a new video on your MHCET law. So there are only less than 10 days left for an exam. So what you should do, what are the important topics you should focus on, what are the past year questions looking like. We will also discuss some of the past year questions in this session, and also we will discuss about the tips and tricks that you can make sure while you are going for the paper you can make a note of those. Okay, so before we move ahead, a small request to all of you who are watching this video to hit on the like, share and subscribe button, and also make sure that you are hitting on the bell icon for all the regular updates. Now, coming to the first part, is that what is the eligibility criteria for this paper of MHCET? So educational qualification that is required is 10+2. The minimum marks, that is 45% for open SEBC and economical weak section, 40% for SC/ST candidates, and 42% for the VGNT, SC/ST, SBC and OBC candidates in the state of Maharashtra. Now, what is this some important news that you need to know about MHCET law? So the first thing, it is in difficulty level, it is lesser than CLAT and AILET. So if any one of you who has written CLAT and AILET, which most of the law aspirants have written those exams, so do make sure that it is an easier exam than that of AILET and CLAT. So that is something that you can look forward to. If you were able to get some hang of the paper in CLAT and AILET, then MHCET law would be something that you can get into, and you will be able to get a good result in these exams. Now, the second part is that there are lesser number of candidates in the MHCET 5-year law paper than that of CLAT, right? So CLAT had more than 70,000 kids who were sitting for the paper, and only 63,000 came and appeared for the paper. But here, the number of the students will be much more lesser than that of CLAT. So the chances of cracking the paper increases multi-folds because of the reduced number of competition that way. Now, coming to the next part is that exam is similar to AILET and SLAT papers. So if any one of you have appeared in the AILET and SLAT paper, you will find MHCET to be on the same lines. Okay, so that is something that you can keep in your mind. Now, there is no negative marking in the paper. It is a 150 marker paper. We'll discuss that, what are the sections there, but there is no negative marking, nor there is any sectional cutoff time. So you have your complete time and the marks in your hands. So do make sure that you are marking all the answers before your paper is over. Now, coming to the next part, that is that there are seats are much more than any other law entrances, because there are more than 10,000 seats that are available under the MHCET law for 5 years. So that is something that you can look into it, and also a lot of people will get a chance to get into these colleges also. Now, coming to the next part is that due to the presence of GLC and ILS, this exam becomes as important as CLAT for some of the aspirants. So if any one of you is planning to get into either GLC or ILS Pune, or some people might only be giving MHCET paper for just these two colleges, right? So if you are planning to give this paper according to GLC and ILS, do make sure that it is as important as CLAT exam for you, because it can be a make or break paper for a lot of students who haven't got through CLAT right now. Okay, so a lot of students haven't got through CLAT, so it might be their best backup option that they can go for right now if they are appearing for the MHCET exam. Now, coming to the next part is that what is the 2022 exam pattern looking like? So the English has 30 questions, Maths has 10 questions, logical and analytical reasoning with 40 questions, general awareness and current affairs with 30, legal aptitude and legal reasoning with another 40 questions. So that brings the grand total to 150 questions for the paper for MHCET law exam for 5 years. Now, coming to the next part is what are the cutoffs looking like? What were the cutoffs last year? So if you see GLC Mumbai being on the higher side, for the general candidate from Maharashtra, the number were going to 118 plus, but outside Maharashtra candidate, which is on the rightmost corner box, you can see that the scores were around 128. for GLC Mumbai. Now, if you go to ILS Pune has a cutoff of 115 marks for the general candidate, and from Maharashtra, and any person coming from outside the Maharashtra general candidate was dealt at 126 marks. Now, SVKMS Praveen Gandhi College of Law, which is based out in Pune, and also the general marks that were required were 114, and for the outside Maharashtra candidate it increased to 124. Rizvi Law College 109 for inside Maharashtra, and outside Maharashtra was 119. University of Mumbai Thane campus, you can see that general category cutoffs were lying at 102, and for outside Maharashtra candidate it was 118. Right, so DES Firodilal College, that is 112 for general and 122 for outside Maharashtra candidates. Now, coming to the next part is that what are these important tips that you need to make sure while you're going for the MHCET paper? The first thing is that don't indulge in new learnings now. That means that if you have studied something so far, just don't try to learn or grasp new things. Right, sustain on what you have studied till now, revise it and practice it really well. Second would be revise what you have already prepared. That is the second most important tip. Third is clear your doubts and concepts. If there are any concepts and doubts that are still left to be concluded or they are still left to be cleared, please make sure that you are doing it right now and completing it in just next 1 to 2 days also. Next, coming to the next part is that manage your time well, right? Because management of time in these examinations will play a very important role. So do make sure that you are setting a timer for each section for yourself so that you are able to get an idea how much time you will take in the paper also and how many questions you will be able to solve. Now, coming to the next part is that attempt mock test every day now for the next 10 days so that you get the real feel of the examination, and attempt them every day. If you find sectional tests, do try them also. If you are a part of Pratham, then you have gotten all the mocks for MHCET and the past year papers also. On the day of the exam, if you have written so many mocks, you will feel like it is just another mock test that you are giving. Now, trying the past year papers is very important. If you haven't tried the past year papers till now, do make sure that you are going and attempting those past year papers too, and making sure that you complete them on time and also you are prepared before the exam. Now, next is make a strategy before you go for the paper, that how you are going to solve the examination. Do make sure that you have a plan regarding it, that you know how much time you are going to spend, which section you are going to start your exam from, which are the questions that you'll be solving first, and which section is your strongest and where you'll be marking the answers with 100% accuracy, 90% accuracy. There has to be a calculation in your mind regarding all these factors, and there needs to be a existing strategy before you sit for the paper for your MHCET law. Now, what is the syllabus looking like for the paper? Legal aptitude as Indian polity, executive, judiciary, legislature, law propositions with facts, and the constitution. Now, general knowledge has Indian geography, current affairs, latest rules and amendments, and also a lot of parts from current affairs included in this. Logical and analytical reasoning, there are a lot of topics that are covered. We'll be talking about the important topics in the future slides coming up in the next slide. Now, next is English. There are also a lot of topics that are being told by the MHCET syllabus, and we'll be talking about which are the topics you need to focus on. Next is maths, and maths is only for 5-year LLB. So if you're going for 3-year, it is not going to be a part of your course. Now, what are the topics that you should focus on in the subject of English? As we have seen in the past year papers, idioms and phrases have been one of the top picked up topics in the paper. Also, spelling errors are also being included. Next is vocabulary. So make sure that you are going for some words of vocabulary and you're revising a little bit of vocabulary for yourself. Also, next comes is one word substitution. So if you have one word substitution practices, do make sure that you're doing that. Analogies are also a part of the paper. So English can cover all of these topics really thoroughly. Now, for logical and analytical reasoning, the first is coding and decoding. Then comes blood relation, distance and directions, syllogisms, analogy, inequality, statements and assumptions, puzzles, and seating arrangements are some of the important sections that you can focus on. So do make sure that you are keeping a screenshot of these slides and you are studying all of these sections really thoroughly. Now coming to the next is legal reasoning section. So legal reasoning section is playing a very important role in the paper, but MHCET focuses on legal GK. Legal GK is almost 80 to 85% of the paper of MHCET. So do make sure that you are understanding that fact very clearly, and you know that legal GK is something that can pop up in your paper, and you are revising your legal GK till the day of your exam. Next is principle and fact-based questions are less in number. There are only 8 to 10 questions that will come up in your paper that will be principle and fact-based. So do make sure that you understand that fact and you are studying your legal GK more focusedly for the MHCET examination. Now coming to the next part is that what are these past year paper questions looking like? So I'll be discussing and giving you answers for few of these past year paper questions. You can see what were these some questions looking like. So the maximum allowance difference allowed between two sessions of parliament, the answer comes down to be 6 months. Next is National Youth Day is the birthday of which famous personality? So the answer is Swami Vivekananda. Next is which organization's 5 status of heritage sites? The answer comes down to be UNESCO. Next is the World Health Organization is headquartered in. The answer is Geneva in Switzerland. Next is which body part is Alzheimer's disease typically associated with? So the answer comes out to be brain. Now some more questions. Dash is the only active volcano in India. It's called the Barren Island. Next is Dash is the UN organization mandate to protect the rights of every child, that is called UNICEF. Next, who is known as the father of Indian Constitution? So the answer is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. What is the name of the vaccine developed by Bharat Biotech, which was a very important section for in WAT of SAT also, that is COVID-19. So that is called Covaxin. Next is what is the technique added by Rajit Singh Desale in primary level books for self-study? It is the QR coded textbooks. So that is the next technology. Now, what are the afternoon shift questions that were there? Who signs 1 rupee note in India? So the answer is that the Ministry of Finance is the person who is issuing these notes, and it bears the signatory of the Finance Secretary. Now coming to the next part is that what was the theme of UNGA 2021? It is building resilience through hope, right? So there are some questions that they ask you about the meetings that are happening all around the world. So how many territories are there as on August 2021? So there were 8 on August 8th. So which countries first introduced right to information? The answer was Sweden. Who wrote Akbaranam? It's Abdul Al-Fazil Mubarak. And which is the most recently created state in India? It was Telangana at that time. So what was legal section asking you? It was who is duty bound to protect environment? So these are some questions for your legal GK. So who is duty bound to protect the environment? So answer is citizen. Bigamy laws are not applicable to Muslims. Who is the chairperson of National Human Rights Commission? So answer is Justice Arun Kumar Mishra at that point of time. So the Chief Justice of India is always the chairperson of the NHRC. So right now, Mr. N.V. Ramanra will be the chairperson of that position. A petition under the Hindu Marriage Act can be presented before district court. The contract where only one party has to perform his promise is called unilateral contract. So These are some of the questions that can even pop up. Is that the heart and the soul of the Constitution is Article 32? Which of the following does not come under the protected area under the Wildlife Protection Act? So the answer is a zoo. Now, disobedience of any judgment or order is known as a contempt. Who administers the oath of President of India? Because of the recent presidential election, this can be asked to you. So the answer is Chief Justice of India. So these are some of the questions that were there in the past year papers. I hope you were able to get some idea about these questions also, and this will help you to prepare really well for your MHCET and gives you some idea that what you need to do in the next 10 days for your paper. Do make sure that you hit on the like, share and subscribe button, and also make sure that you are hitting on the bell icon for the regular updates. Thanks for joining this live session. Do take care of yourself and have a nice day ahead, and best of luck for your MHCET examination. Thank you, guys.